Hello. You are tuning into another episode of The Wunderkind Show. Today's topic is actually something I brought up in the previous video. Worst case scenario, would Bisciotti sell the team? Now, I kind of touched on this, the previous video, like I said before, but I really want to go into it in depth because I think a lot of people really don't understand. I think that part of the video was kind of glossed over, and people really don't look at things from a macro level. They never look at things and look at the grand scheme of it all. They sit there in their pristine comfortness, right? And happily just retain that ignorance is bliss. But I'm going to open some eyes on this one. And what I mean by that is, let's say, because we're going to speak in, hyperbole, right? Let's just say for the sake of argument, right? The Ravens and Lamar Jackson cannot come to an agreement. Let's say they say, you know what, Lamar, look, you probably can't get that money. But we have a line in the sand, and that's the line that we're not willing to cross. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll work out a trade. And they go forward and they trade our franchise quarterback. The franchise quarterback that we've been trying to draft since this team's inception, right? Okay. Now, after you draft him or after you trade him, you're going to get picks. Let's just say Lamar Jackson on the open market is most likely going to pull around three firsts. I don't see how he doesn't. At least 3, right? How many first round picks? I'm speaking from a macro perspective. How many first picks have we hit on recently? Okay. And you have to look at the history of the Ravens and saying, have we been good at drafting QBs? Okay. So then that leads me to my other point. So he goes to another team. Our team now is, because us as the fans are going to be sold something. They're going to say with the defense we have and the running backs that we have and Mark Andrews, we just need a QB to come in that doesn't turn over the ball. The Brock Purdy of the AFC North. Even though, we don't have nowhere near the weapons that the 49ers have, but that's neither here nor there, right? So that's what they're going to sell us on. And after they sell us on that point, a lot of Raven fans are going to be like, you know what? It is possible. Magic does exist. And I believe I can fly. And then they will move forward with those draft picks and then win, 5 games, 6 games. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. Without Lamar, they're not beating Cincinnati. So then what you're going to have then is now people, right, looking at the Ravens and saying, you know what, you're not as exciting as you used to be, right? EDC and Harbaugh have already stated out of their own mouths that they will not be a part of a rebuild. So you might go 2 years like that, right? 5-10, 8 and whatever. No, not 5-10, 5-12, and 8 and whatever. And then they say, you know what? Harbaugh goes, I'm leaving. I'm retiring. It's time to go. Right? Because now all of the blame is no longer going to be able to be placed at the foot of Lamar. Right? And so who can you blame next? The head coach. And I'm going to put a little spin on this too. If Lamar's winning those 2 years, let's say one time out of that 2 years, he wins a Super Bowl. The noise in Baltimore is going to hit a fever pitch. Because then people are going to say, you guys lied to us. Because in all actuality, everybody that was fed and believed and accepted that ignorance is bliss is then going to say, how do we cope? And do you know how people cope when you're fans? You know how they do it? They find the lowest hanging fruit to blame. And that will be horrible. So then Harbaugh goes, bye-bye. Flies away. Now, I'm showing you how everything affects everything. EDC will probably stay, right? General managers, he might stay on for 5 years, 3 years, whatever else, try to build this team without. Now he'll get to pick, a coach for himself. But during that time, Bisciotti sees a steep decline in sales. Very steep. A decline that is so known and so easy to view that it starts getting brought up on the media. It starts being brought up on ESPN, Fox, that, the Ravens have lost a lot of revenue since Lamar's left. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. If everybody wants to ride the coattail of a hero, and if Lamar Jackson goes somewhere else and starts to win, that's going to shine a negative light on the Baltimore Ravens. And the Ravens don't want that negative light on their organization, because then the owner, who's usually allowed to stay in the background, will now be brought up on national TV at all times. EDC will be on national TV all the time. Everything that they do will come into question. It will lead segments in debate shows. So now this billionaire can't live the quiet life that he wants, right? He's not making the money that he requires or wants from said team. And he goes, you know what? My kids don't like football like that, which he's already said. This is out of his own mouth. I'm going to sell the team. Let somebody else come in here and hopefully they could put the team back to where it needs to be. I've done everything I've wanted to do, and it's time to move on, right? Okay. New owner comes in. Ring-a-ding-ding. We got rid of the old person. Now let's get a new owner. Do you know what that owner is going to want? He's going to want to pick the people under him. Gone is the boys club that they promote in Baltimore. So EDC's job is going to be on the rocks, right? Most likely. Harbaugh's already gone. Remember, he's already gone. And then now they're looking at, okay, how can we make a splash? So you might get one more year. That puts us at 3 years. You might get one more year. And guess what? They go nowhere. They don't even make the playoffs. 3 straight misses of the playoffs. Bruh. And let me tell you this right now. With a team unable to make the playoffs, a team that does not have a realistic expectation to make the Super Bowl, ticket sales start to dwindle. Those glizzies that people go to the park to enjoy, they become old, stale, have to be thrown away. Whole bunch of stock just thrown away. Concession stands. Maybe 2-3 people show up to a concession stand because fans ain't spending no more money on the team. Do you know what they're doing? They're keeping those old Ray Lewis jerseys, right? So now they're saying, you know what? The fans ain't supporting the team. We're not making no money. I don't even pretty much like the area like that. Let's move the team. Let's move the team. Now, all of you guys are going to be in an uproar. No. How could you do this? No. That's going to be y'all. And as you're watching your sports team be ripped from your grasp, right? Torn asunder. That's when reality finally sets in. That's when the drug that is copium has now been weaned from your veins. That is now when the ignorance in which you ate, in which you accepted, becomes a shattered glass crashing on the hard floor of reality. And you sit there and say, how did it get to this? Want me to tell you how you got to this? Because half of y'all are ignorant beyond comprehension. Oh. Because you knew. You knew. You just weren't willing to accept it. You placed blame. You agreed with the media. Let me tell you something right now. You see you guys. You see me. You see all these Raven guys and stuff like that. All of us, at the end of the bar, we might be, but we're the ones that pay their salaries. We're the ones. The power is not in one of us, but in all of us. Numbers. Do you think if we make a big enough uproar and say, look, we took X amount of years to find a QB, right? We want him to stay in Baltimore. And the fans start showing a big distrust in ownership. Because if the fans say, look, if you get rid of him, right? If you get rid of him, you're going to lose a lot of people here. We promise you that. Sign petitions, whatever we got to do. And at first they're going to be like, yeah, whatever. Fans will still fan. They'll still show up for the games. But when he's gone and that first year hits, and they're like, oh my God. Or let's say he sits out and nobody shows up to the games because they don't want to pay him. Then all of a sudden, that same ownership that was so hardened, so stoic, so steadfast becomes malleable. Because let me tell you something right now. There's an old 90s song. I don't know if y'all know it. It's called Cream by Wu-Tang Clan. The Wu-Tang Clan. And it's called Cash Rules Everything Around Me. And let me tell you something right now. When it comes to billionaires, it's cream all day. All day. Cash rules everything around them. Their lifestyles, their egos, their protection. So it's up to us to put our foots on the necks of ownership and let them know, look, you are a billionaire and you could probably just leave fleetingly. But if he goes, then you're going to have to give up this team because we're not going to support it. If fans understood this moving forward, teams wouldn't make idiot decisions. How many times as fans have we seen teams make egregious decisions? Decisions that a second grader wouldn't make. And then they chalk it up to, it's business. And then when you look at it, it was bad business on top of it. We're not talking, listen, I try to tell people this. There are levels to players. We're not talking about a great running back. We're not talking about one great receiver. We're not talking about any of those things. We are talking about the most important position in all of football. And as much as it pains a lot of Raven fans to distinguish that Lamar Jackson is a top 5 QB, he is. He is. His statistics are historical. His winning percentage is historical. And the only QB that has won more than him is Patrick Mahomes, who, I like to remind everybody, was in the perfect situation. So I want to scare everybody watching because a lot of people are still drinking from the fountain of ignorance, guzzling all of the bliss that they can. Maybe this wakes them up. Because a lot of people don't understand. They'll be, oh, we'll lose Lamar, but we'll be okay. No, that's not the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is you lose your team. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. A lot of people say, I'm a real Ravens fan. Oh, yeah, I'm a real Ravens fan. I don't care if Lamar leaves, I'm staying. I don't care if Mark Andrews leaves, I'm staying. That's not how a team generates money. Do you know how many fans Lamar Jackson's brought to this team? Matter of fact, let's bring it back a little bit. How many fans do you think Ray Lewis brought to this team? How many fans do you think Ed Reed brought to this team? Don't you think everybody that likes Baltimore is from Baltimore? Ignorance at its finest. And that's the frustrating part. When have Think about this. Everyone's like, oh, well, I don't care because I like being an underdog. No, you don't. No, you don't. You want to come in chest held high saying the Super Bowl is ours and we're coming to take it. That's what you want. You don't want, oh, we slept we slipped through the gaze of night under radar and somehow, got a win or two. No. Because it's not sustainable. When you can allow yourself to be a powerhouse, especially when it's there for you, why would you not do it? This team, the culture, everything that's been built in Baltimore, right, is teetering right now. Because you have an owner that's indecisive on how long he wants to own the team. You have a coach that doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild. You have a GM that doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild, and you have a QB that's not paid. That's the macro. See, that's the part that nobody brings up. Your Stephen A's, your Skip Baylesses, your Shannon Sharps. They don't bring that part up. I will. Because that's the part that us fans have to see. Because the media's not going to report on all the stuff that we're seeing. You know what they're going to report on? When everything comes crashing to the ground. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to see this team crash to the ground. And that was another episode of The Wunderkind Show. Hey, man, look, I wanted to actually put a segment in here at the end and thank everybody. Every fan, every listener, every sponsor, everybody for contributing and helping and building this platform to right now where it's at. We are literally, and I want to say this, we are over 1,000 subscribers. I know. Listen, I know. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. We reached it. And as a matter of fact, we didn't just reach it. We jumped over. We're at 1,200 subscribers. But you want me to tell you something right now? We're just getting started. So from me to you guys, I want to say thank you. And I'm saying thank you and telling you guys to a bright future on this platform. So once again, this is The Wunderkind Show. If you have not already, it's the first time you're watching, please do remember, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment because you know we like to comment with everybody. Just be respectful, cordial, in the section. That's all I ask. And if you would like to leave a donation, a cash donation to help out the platform grow faster and expedite what we're trying to do here, at the bottom of the screen is a QR code. In the description, you will find the Cash App for it. $, The Wunderkind Show. So once again, this is The Wunderkind Show. This is your host, Nitro, signing off. And as you guys know my slogan. Peace. And I am out and feeling blessed. Yeah.